Hi, and welcome to this information session about Fall 2019 exchange programs abroad. My name is Erin Kehoe, and I am the Study Abroad Coordinator here at LIM College, and I am excited to have the opportunity today to talk to you about studying abroad for a whole semester on exchange. So just a quick overview of what I will talk about today. I'll start by talking a little bit about the benefits of studying abroad, as well as what it's like to actually study abroad. And then I'll go into our different program options and some tips for how you can select among them, because there are quite a few. I'll then talk about the requirements to study abroad, courses and the academic side of things, a little bit about finances, safety abroad, the application process and deadlines, and what your next steps should be. And as you'll see, of course, there's time for questions at the end, but since this is an asynchronous presentation and you'll be watching it on your own time, if you do have any questions for me, I will be giving you my contact information at the end so that you can reach out and I can help clear those questions up for you. So first and foremost, why study abroad? And hopefully if you are watching this presentation, this is something that you've already given some thought to. There are really a lot of reasons. Some students talk about wanting to get a different perspective on the fashion industry, or a different perspective on the subjects that they're studying here at LIM. Other students really are just looking for a new experience. They'd like to explore a new city, a new country, potentially learn or improve a foreign language that they'd like to speak. And study abroad is a really great way to do that. And to spend an entire semester in a different city and in a different country means that you're really immersing yourself in that culture and in that experience. Other students, are interested in gaining a new perspective, but kind of on the world in general. They'd like to meet students and classmates and professors from different parts of the world, and to kind of expand what their thoughts are about their place. And again, study abroad is one way to do that. There's really no wrong reason to want to study abroad, and it's a little bit different for everybody, but I would encourage you to give some thought to this before you go through the application process. Knowing what your motivation is, what you want to get out of the experience, can be really helpful as you're moving through the application, and then if you're accepted to the program, the pre-departure process, and then into your semester abroad, and making sure that you're actually accomplishing those goals that you've set for yourself. So just really briefly, I like to talk a little bit about what it's actually like to study abroad for a semester, because I know sometimes that can be something that's difficult to envision if you haven't done it before, and likely you have not done it before. So before you depart, there is a quite lengthy pre-departure preparation process that you'll go through. So if you're accepted to the program by me, your next step will be to submit your personal information to your host school via a quote-unquote application process. And those quotes are there because, while your host school will call this an application process, in most cases, once you've been accepted by me, you are really accepted for the program. This is just a way for your host school to get your information into their system. You will also, if you don't yet have a passport, or if you don't have a valid passport, you will need to apply for one ASAP, or apply for a renewal. We will also work together to help you apply for a student visa, secure your housing overseas, register for your courses, purchase flights, all of those logistical things. There's a set of required pre-departure paperwork that I will also ask you to complete, but I'll give you all the information that you need on what that entails and how to do that. And then finally, there will be a mandatory pre-departure orientation at the end of this spring semester. So of course that will be quite a bit before you're actually traveling, and we'll be continuing to work on these steps over the summer. But at that orientation, we'll talk about things like health and safety, packing tips, adjusting to culture shock, academic differences, things like that, so that when you do travel in the fall, you're really prepared for all of those things. So then finally, you will actually go overseas to your new host school. You'll attend an orientation there, and you'll get settled in with your courses. This is, of course, when you'll be meeting new people and hopefully getting involved on your host school's campus. So many of our partners have student clubs, sports teams, social events, and I would really encourage you to take advantage of those. And in addition, a lot of students enjoy traveling on the weekends or on school breaks while they're abroad. So that's something to look forward to as well. Finally, at the end of the fall semester, you would return to the US and have a re-entry orientation here, which takes place online. It's in a webinar format, so very convenient. But that's a chance for you to talk about your experience, share feedback with me, and then also learn more about how to take advantage of your study abroad experience on your resume, in interviews, and things like that. I also will ask for your feedback on your experience, because I'm always reviewing and making improvements to our programs. And if you're interested, I would love to have your help at study abroad events, serving as a student who has gone abroad, who can speak about their experience. It's hugely invaluable for outgoing students. So now moving on to our program options, we have a big selection. We have 13 different partner schools currently, so some really great choices out there for you. So first and foremost, we have one partner in Australia, RMIT University, at their Melbourne location. Just one thing to note about RMIT, because they're in the Southern Hemisphere, their semester dates do not match LAM semester dates. So their fall semester actually begins quite a bit earlier in the summer than ours does, and it ends earlier in the fall. So you can always find the rough semester dates for any of our programs on the website. If you Google LIM College Study Abroad, that comes up and you can take a look at those. This is not something that would cause problems. We have students who study at RMIT every year, but it's just something to be aware of. RMIT is a very big school, so it is a great choice for transfer students or other students who don't have a lot of academic flexibility, because they offer a lot of courses, which means that there's a lot of flexibility there. So even if you don't have a lot of electives left in your schedule, RMIT can be a very good choice for that reason. Another partner that we have in the Czech Republic is University of New York in Prague. This program is open to sophomores and above. As I'll speak about in a couple of minutes, most of our exchange programs require that you be a junior to go overseas. So Prague's a little bit different in that it does allow sophomores. Prague, in addition, has a low cost of living, so something to consider if you're thinking about your budget for the semester. And they do have relatively flexible course choices, so they're good for, say, the business core requirements of your LIM degree. In England, we have 3 partners, but as you'll see there, the course offerings at all 3 of these schools are not very flexible. So again, if you do have a lot of elective space, these choices could be great for you. If you don't, they may be ones that are better avoided. The first partner that we have in England is the London College of Fashion. They are pretty academically challenging, so we recommend that students have a 3.5 or higher GPA to go there. That is not something that's a hard cutoff, but something that I definitely recommend. And again, they do have limited course choice. So at LCF, you select one of 4 degree programs and you take the classes that are offered under that program. So within each program, you don't have any choice, but you do get to choose the program that you study there. We also partner with the University of Westminster, which is in Harrow, which is about 30 minutes northwest of London. There is some course choice there, so our students will usually have between 8 and 10 classes to choose from. But note that Westminster is only an option in the spring because of the availability of their program and the limitations that they have in place. We can only send students there in the spring. So if you're thinking about traveling in fall 2019, you'd need to wait until spring 2020. Finally, we also partner with the University for the Creative Arts in Epsom. This school is located 30 minutes southwest of London. Typically, our students take marketing and management courses in the fall and fashion promotion and imaging courses in the spring. As you can probably tell from the name of the school, this is a pretty creative university. So if that's something that interests you, it could be a really great choice for you. But again, within the programs that they provide to our students, there is no course choice available, so not the most flexible option. We have 2 partners in France, one at the American Business School of Paris and one at the Paris School of Business. They are relatively similar programs, but a little bit different. The American Business School of Paris offers business and liberal arts courses and is relatively flexible. So again, if you don't have a lot of space for electives in your graduation plan, American Business School Paris can be a really good choice. Paris School of Business, on the other hand, is a little bit less flexible, so something to just think about as you're looking at different programs. And as you can see there, knowledge of French is not required for either program. So with all of the exchange programs I'm going to be talking about, the coursework is taught in English, all of the administrators speak English, and I would say the majority of our students who study abroad are not fluent in the language of the country that they're going to. So if that's something that's kind of giving you pause, again, it's always flexible, or I should say it's always helpful if you have a little bit of the language, but it's definitely not a requirement, and you can be very successful even if you don't have any of the language. In Italy, we have one partner, the American University of Rome. Like our program in the Czech Republic, this is open to sophomores and above. It is quite a competitive program. It's one of our most popular, if not our most popular, so if you do choose to apply to this program, that's something to keep in mind. AUR offers mostly liberal arts and media courses, although they do offer some business classes as well. And again, you don't need to know Italian to go there. It is, if you have a couple of semesters before you're planning to apply, if you're kind of just getting some preliminary information right now, one thing to consider would be to take a language class here at LAM between now and then. We usually offer French, Italian, and Spanish each semester at different levels. So when you do go to register for coming semester, that's something to keep an eye out for. It is really great to have a little bit of the language under your belt before you're traveling. And another resource that's available to you is the Mango Language Lab, which is offered through the LAM College Library Database system. So if you go to the college's library website, under databases, you'll find Mango Language Lab. You can sign up for free. It's kind of like a Rosetta Stone style resource, but again, really helpful if you would like to pick up some of the language before you travel. In the Netherlands, we have one partner, the Amsterdam University of Applied Sciences and their School of Economics and Management. They offer business courses and some liberal arts courses. And again, you do not need to know Dutch to go there. We have one partner, which is relatively new in Scotland, Heriot-Watt University in Galashiels. This is about an hour south of Edinburgh by train, and they offer fashion courses. This is their specialty. They really focus on textiles because Galashiels is a center for Scottish textiles and that heritage industry there. So it's a great place to be located if you're a fashion student. They also do have some communications, marketing, technology, and interior design courses as well, if any of those things are of interest to you. We have one program in Spain at the Universidad CEU San Pablo in Madrid. They offer business communications and liberal arts courses, and they have a really great supportive set of systems in place for incoming students. All of our exchange partners are really good about supporting incoming students, but I wanted to highlight CEU as one in particular that has some really good supports in place. And finally, we have two options in Asia, one in Taiwan at Xi'an University in Taipei. They offer business and liberal arts courses. They do not have the most flexibility when it comes to course choice, but there is some choice. There is a lower cost of living in Taipei, so again, if you're thinking about budget, that could be a good location for you. And then finally in Vietnam, we also partner with RMIT Vietnam in Ho Chi Minh City. Like Westminster, this program is only available in the spring because of the structure of their academic calendar. So it would not be available for fall 2019. You would need to wait until spring 2020. They have fashion-focused coursework and quite a low cost of living. And again, for both of those programs, you do not need to know Mandarin, Taiwanese, or Vietnamese to participate. So you may be thinking to yourself after hearing about all of those programs, I'm sure that I want to go abroad, but I really don't know which of those would be the best fit for me. So here are some questions that you can ask yourself. Number one, what do you want to accomplish academically while you're abroad? So for most of those programs I mentioned, the types of classes that they tend to offer. So think about, do you want to focus on fashion coursework, business coursework? Would you like to do some liberal arts while you're there? Each school will have different offerings. Again, going back through this presentation, you'll be able to get an overview. If you go to our website, there's a little bit more information there about course availability. And you can always send me an email, or we can meet one-on-one to talk about specific programs if you have more questions about what types of classes are offered. You might want to study a different language, and that could impact where you'd like to go. And then finally, you want to think about the number of credits that you need to take while you're overseas. If you don't know, then it's a good idea to meet with your academic advisor. You do need to take at least 12 credits while you're abroad, because you do need to remain a full-time student. But some programs will restrict you to only taking 12 credits. Others will allow you to take 15 or 16. You can also take classes online here at LIM while you're abroad too. So all of those factors could come into play when you're thinking about choosing a program. The timing of programs may be important to you. So again, on our website, we have a rough outline for the semester dates of each partner school. And one thing to keep in mind is that some programs may overlap with LIM's summer session. So if you're planning on taking classes here at LIM, that may be something to consider as well. And then finally, you want to think about the level of support that you need, and then the environment that best fits your needs. So as far as level of support goes, some of our partner schools, typically those schools that have smaller student bodies, offer a lot of close support from their administrators and their staff, because they're dealing with a smaller number of students. Some schools are even smaller than LIM, some are bigger than LIM. So it's worth thinking about how independent you are and how much support you'd like from your host school. And again, if you have questions about that for a particular school, you can always reach out to me to ask. And as far as environment goes, again, this is about university size, but it's also about the city that you're going to. So many of our programs are located in major metropolitan areas. Some are a little bit further outside of those large cities. So for example, Galashiels in Scotland, where Heriot-Watt University is located, is a smaller town. So it offers a completely different experience than being here in New York City, while still being close to a major city, Edinburgh. So again, these are all things that you just need to consider for yourself. There's no right or wrong answer to any of these questions, but they should all be things that you think about as you go through and look at each program. The requirements to be eligible to study abroad are quite straightforward. They're that you be in good academic and financial standing, so that means no holds on your SONUS account. The GPA recommendation is a 3.0, and that's your cumulative LIM GPA. But this is somewhat flexible. There are other factors that I look at when I review applications, but you do need to have at least a 2.5 GPA in order to be considered for a program. I mentioned class standing when I was talking about the programs, but just to reiterate, most of our exchanges require that you be in your third year of college level study at the time of the program. So if you are a transfer student, the college study that you took at another school will count towards this. This does not need to be third year at LIM, it just needs to be third year of college level study. The exceptions to this are AUR in Italy and UNIP in Prague, both programs that accept sophomores. I typically ask that students be matriculated at LIM for at least 2 semesters before the start date of the program. But if you are a transfer student and you'd like to study abroad your second semester here at LIM, that's usually okay too. Just send me an email and we can talk about it. So the courses that you're taking while you're abroad should count towards graduation, towards your degree here at LIM. If possible, we usually recommend that you save your electives for the semester that you're going abroad. As I've mentioned, some programs have a lot of flexibility regarding course choice, others do not. And you can always meet with me to talk more specifically about that if you're not sure about your program or if you don't have a lot of flexibility and are wondering which ones would be the best options for you. I strongly encourage you to speak with your academic advisor about your specific graduation plan. And just keep in mind that the degree requirements for all LIM degrees are changing for 2019-2020, which will impact what courses you need to take while you're abroad. So if you haven't spoken with an academic advisor recently, I strongly encourage you to reach out to them so that you can get an updated graduation plan and really know what classes that you'll need, which will impact which programs will be a good fit for you. And for all students who are accepted to the program, before you travel, I will meet with you. We will talk about the courses that you'd like to take abroad and how they transfer back to LIM, so that everything is approved and set before you're ever leaving the US. So we don't have any uncertainty about the classes you're taking and whether they'll transfer back or how they'll transfer back. We get all of that figured out before you travel. While you're away, you'll need to earn the equivalent of a D or better to receive credit from your course abroad, which is the same as if you were taking a course here on campus. You need to pass the class in order to get credit for it. But the grades that you receive from your semester overseas appear on your LIM transcript as pass-fail. They don't impact your GPA. One thing to keep in mind is that course requirements and assessments, meaning homework, tests, quizzes, presentations, are generally pretty different abroad than from the LIM model. So here in the US, we tend to give a lot of assignments over the course of the semester, and each of those impacts your grade a little bit. Many of our partner schools will give you just a couple of really big assignments for each class, and each of those 1, 2, or 3 assignments has a huge impact on your grade, because those are the only things that you're being graded on for this semester. So again, it's just a different style than we have here in the States. If you want more information about this, you can always ask me, or I can help connect you with students who have studied abroad in the past, so that you can get an idea of what to expect regarding the amount of work. So as far as finances go, participants who travel abroad on an LIM college exchange program, which is what we've been talking about, pay LIM tuition and fees. So there's no extra study abroad fee or tuition costs that need to go to your host school. You're just paying your regular LIM tuition, just like you would for any other semester. The only piece that's a little bit different is that your housing costs are paid directly to your housing provider. So if you're living on campus at your host school, you would pay your host school directly for your housing. If you are staying at a residence hall or a student apartment building, you would pay them. Maybe you're living in a building with a landlord and you pay your landlord for your housing, but in any case, you're not paying LIM for your housing. There are some additional costs on top of tuition to consider. So of course, airfare to get over to the host country and back again, cost of living, meaning again, your housing, your accommodation, and your food. And then smaller items like international health insurance, your passport if you don't yet have one, visa fees, any additional travel and entertainment, all of that good stuff. We do have estimates for each of our program locations for these additional costs available on the website. So again, if you're thinking about budget and your semester abroad, that's a really great place to start to get an idea of what you can expect to spend. If you get financial aid, it will apply towards your tuition costs for your semester abroad. You can also, depending on the type of aid that you're getting, potentially request a little bit extra for some of those additional costs like airfare, housing, things like that. Speak with a financial services counselor about this. They'll be able to take a look at your package and let you know how that could apply to a semester abroad. There are also scholarships available to study overseas. I keep a list of them, so if you'd be interested in getting more information about those scholarships, please feel free to send me an email and I'd be happy to send that on to you. So just a very little bit about safety abroad. We choose our partners abroad and our program locations very carefully. We think a lot about risk management and potential risks that could face our students while they're studying there before we ever approve a program. And it's something that I look at every single day to make sure that the risk level has not gotten above the threshold that we've set for ourselves, because our student safety is really our #1 priority. We have a whole bunch of policies and procedures in place to help keep our students safe while they're abroad. And if you're accepted to the program, I'll be asking you to complete several steps to comply with those policies. One that we do have that I'll mention here is we partner with a company called International SOS, which is a travel risk management company. So again, they provide us a lot of services, but basically the college pays for a membership with ISOS, and then we provide that membership to all of our student travelers free of charge. And again, it's something that I would talk about how to use if you're accepted to the program. Students are supported all semester long by LIM by the LIM College Study Abroad Coordinator, me, as well as by their local host school staff. So each of our partner schools has staff on the ground who are dedicated to working with their exchange students. And finally, again, I mentioned a little bit earlier, there's that mandatory pre-departure orientation before you travel, where I talk all about health and safety for life abroad. So the application process. First and foremost, just make sure that you are planning ahead. Don't leave this process until the last minute, and make sure that you're not missing the application deadline. The deadline for fall 2019 programs is February 15th. If you're not thinking about applying until if you're not thinking about studying abroad until spring 2020, the application deadline for you will be September 15th. So for fall 2019, it's February 15th. For spring 2020, it's September 15th. When you do go to apply, you'll download the application form from the website. It's a PDF, so you can save it to your desktop and fill it out. You'll also complete a short essay, and there are some instructions on the application form itself about what I'm looking for in the essay. So you'll submit the application form, your essay, and then an unofficial copy of your transcript from SONIS. To me, please email those to studyabroad@limcollege.edu, and I will confirm once I've received your application. Once you've submitted that, we will go ahead and schedule the interview portion of your application. And really the factors that I look at when I look at each applicant are that essay, the interview, and then your cumulative LIM GPA. Those are the three main things. One thing to keep in mind is that we are limited in the number of students that we're able to send abroad through each of our programs. It's something that we work with our partner schools on. It's something that's also dictated by the exchange agreements that we have with them. So one thing to keep in mind is that it's important to be flexible. It's really important to do research and think about the program that you think is the best fit for you, but I may not have space for all of the students who have applied to a particular program to give them a spot to study there. If I believe that you're a qualified candidate and I have space available at another program that I think would be a good fit for you, I will always offer that to you, even if there's not a spot in your first choice program. So it's worth thinking about, are you open to other options? Is it something that you would consider? And really the feedback that I've gotten from past students who have not gotten their first choice program, but who did decide to accept their spot at another school, is that they've had a great experience. And I think some of that comes from not necessarily having expectations when you're going to a program that wasn't your first choice, and really being open to the experience. Those students tend to, again, have some of the most positive experiences out of all of our study abroad students. So I've mentioned our website a few times today. If you haven't been there before, this is what it looks like. Again, it's very easy to find. Just Google LIM College Study Abroad. And then you can, if you scroll down on the page there, you will see all of the countries where we have program locations at the moment, as well as, again, under each of those programs, different information on the academics, the estimated cost of living. You'll find the PDF application form under each of those programs, so a lot of really good information there. So your next steps, if you are planning to apply, plan ahead. Again, visit the website and check out all the great information that's there. If you would like to make an appointment with me, if you're not sure where you should apply, if you have other questions that I haven't answered yet, please feel free to send me an email. I am happy to set up a time to meet with you and speak either in person or by phone. Again, make sure that you're meeting with your academic advisor and with a student financial services counselor to talk about your graduation plan and your financial aid package, respectively. And then, of course, be sure to submit your application to me, the Study Abroad Coordinator, by the deadline of February 15th. Any questions can be addressed to erin.kehoe@limcollege.edu. And I hope that you do choose to apply. I look forward to receiving your applications and speaking soon. Thanks so much.